What up? What up? It's your boy Blake Anthony with none other than Big Game James Canada coming at you with another session of Sports Staff 49 with Big Game Sports Buzz. Mr. Pewter Perspective, Mr. Everything, Mr. Mustache, Mr. Beard, Mr. Cigar, Bald Head, whatever you want to call that man. Just don't call him broke because that definitely ain't what he is. No, I'm just kidding. So we're going to talk a little bit, like you said, 2025 draft prospects. We're just going to talk period. And a broad perspective, we're all kind of Tampa biased. Not we are, but not really. We can talk about the league and everything, but we just talk about what's close to us. We're going to talk about Shedeur Sanders, that whole nonsense. This is what I think it is. Going to talk about Jon Gruden in the Ring of Honor. We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about a little bit of everything, but we're going to talk about draft prospects, what we think, how the draft is going to roll for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and James is going to give his ideas and perspectives on his own draft day, process when he went through it. So where do you want to start off, James? Where do you want to go?
I mean, we could talk about just different people we talked about. Or even just positions of need, because it's all relative, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like you look at the team, and the people will automatically go, "Oh, we just need this and we just need that." I've seen people go, "Well, Baker still isn't the long-term answer." The man played well enough to where I don't think quarterback discussion should be up unless it's another backup later rounds. That part is good right now. So it's just like I love seeing all the different posts from different Buccaneer content creators, seeing is what they think is the most important position. And I have some different debates and conversations with some guys like, well, James, that's true, but I wouldn't get this here. I would get it here. And I was like, yeah, you know what? That's a good point. But if one falls up to us earlier, or if what we really like edge-wise is gone in the first, do we move back and then address maybe corner or safety and get a different edge in the second round if that's what we see value? So, Jason Light has done a really good job in how he handles it and how he approaches the draft and being able to find those pieces from the Senior Bowl and the scouting department doing their job. So, I just love it, man. I just love seeing what's going to come out of, what the staff does, because that's where you make your real money. You know what I mean? Everyone sees the head coach, everyone sees the GM, but it's those guys tirelessly on the road that's writing those reports, finding that one guy that no one heard of, that all of a sudden they get to training camp and they wow everybody when they get there. It's like, oh, damn, he was what? From who? We didn't know about this kid. You just want to see that all come true for the team.
Absolutely. And that's why a lot of James does his prospect reels. And now of course, my prospect and reels, and we're going to put those out all the time. I try to get day 2 and day 3 guys, because doing the round 1 guys are boring because everybody's already looking at that. True. So I'm all trying to look at different guys that you can look at with different skill sets and things, and try to give you guys to look at it different. So like me personally, like I think differently, corresponding from being a player, doing media, coaching. So I look at things different. Like I'll give you an example. You look at Austin Gentry, what a great running back out of Boise State. You know what I look at when I see Austin Gentry run? Who's blocking for him? What can those linemen do in the draft? How good are they? There's a reason why those holes are open. I look at stuff like that, and I think other scouts and people that look at player talent level, you got to think outside the box like that. Like, he's had a great rushing career. Why is that? Just like Saquon Barkley with the Eagles, great offensive line, right. Great running back. Now you pair that up and look what you got. A freaking Super Bowl win. Right. Led the league in rushing, et cetera, et cetera. The rest is history. So speaking of all that, who are you? I guess we'll just talk about Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, what do you think at the pick at 19? We'll just address what everybody likes to talk about first, and then we'll go into the rest.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I've kind of jumped on the edge bandwagon, Blake.
I'm with you.
I believe that edge is very necessary. And then I also believe that the secondary is very necessary. I mean, you just look at the injuries that happened last year, people that'll probably be gone. I wanted to see a little bit more out of Zion McCollum at times last year, and it wasn't bad, but I think he was rushed into a position to play. So That's another big position of need. So I think it all depends on, and this is when I wish I had eyes in the room to see who's on Tampa's board. Because I know the different things that I think fit well, but at the same time, what do the Buccaneers have down on their board? Who fits them well, and who's going to come in and be able to play the part? But right now, I believe to have to help that defense to play along the part, play along, Vita Vea, Kalijah Cansey. The edge has got to be addressed because JTS is done. He didn't get it done. He had his chance, didn't really get it done. I think Logan Hall had a lot more chances this season and wasn't horrible, but still just being able to put the pressure on in that 3-4 type defense without having to blitz, who can come in and get some things done. So I think you've got to have somebody at 19 that you just absolutely love. Not just one. I think as a, 3 names you have on your board that you can plug and play right away that's going to come in and help that defensive line.
Absolutely. So my draft, I'm like, my head's so spinning with this because you have no idea how things are going to play out in the draft. And that's the part that makes my head spin. Right. You already know I've made it very clear of everybody. I'm a big proponent of getting to the quarterback. The Eagles just showed you that. I've told y'all 1,000 times that. You can have pass rushers and have average secondary and win Super Bowls. You can absolutely have that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a proven recipe. But you can't have the opposite. Lacking pass rush and good secondary and win. It doesn't work.
It doesn't work at all.
So at 19, everybody, of course, goes to Mike Green with the speed, the power, and the edge, and the camp video. Let me put something in perspective. In those camp videos, it's geared in the defensive line's favor. The offensive line is completely at a disadvantage in those videos. That's why you see a lot of defensive linemen get the best of offensive linemen in those Senior Bowl combine videos, one-on-one drills. Not saying that Mike Green's good, not bad. He did that against Ohio State. He did that against D1 top opponents. So I do think he has some skill set with the speed and things like that. I have what I think at 19 is I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers need to pick the best available. And the reason I say that and why my head is so torn, you have Cade Otton. I think he's coming to his last year of his contract.
Yeah.
His original.
3-year, 3, yeah.
You've seen his ceiling. That is as best as he's going to get, in my opinion. He's played the best. That's what you're going to see what he does. I'm not saying he's terrible or anything. Is he a game changer? I wouldn't say that. I would say he produces well when he's in. Another one, Vita Vea. Contract comes up 2 more years.
Right.
You have your linebacker situation. Lavonte David. Everybody knows it's not a secret. I'm very close to Lavonte David and his agent with that. And I'll just tell you, like I always tell you every year, as long as Lavonte David's body is willing to let him play, he will play. So when I say all these things, it's nice to have a player that can fit 2 positions. And if you can do that in a player and get him at 19, then you do so. But if that tight end, Tyler Warren out of Penn State, is something fierce. That guy is nasty.
He's a Swiss Army knife, man.
He can block. He can catch. He's a jump ball threat. He's just an absolute football player. Is it scary to pick at that pick again after the O.J. Howard thing? Yeah, but I'll say it like I said before with O.J. Howard. You expected O.J. Howard to do things that he didn't do at Alabama. I pointed this out to people, and they just didn't look at it because you get so caught up watching highlights. All the biggest plays that you watched with O.J. Howard was him being wide open and outrunning people or busted coverage. You never saw him out mossing people. You never saw him doing all the things that you thought he did in any of his highlights. You never saw it. It's not there. I can confidently say you can go look at his Alabama stuff right now. You'll never see any of it.
That's true.
He got so caught up in the speed that he had, which he was. He was very athletic, but he didn't apply it to his playing. Tyler Warren does. Very, very good. Game changer. He's going to make some team very happy, whoever that is that picks him up. I'm very confident in that.
You take him at 19 though? That's I mean,
that dude is legit. And I'm just looking at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They don't attack in the middle of the field enough. He would make a difference long term on both ends running. And but I'm just saying, if he's the best player available, if
I
that's
got you saying. So you're saying if that edge that you like isn't there, then Warren needs to be something that you consider taking at 19.
yeah,
If he's there.
I said it's either that or trade down if you really don't want to go tight end because you don't have to.
See, I said that earlier too. I said Trey. I believe that middle of the first round pick is one, and you see how that board is going. Maybe you move back to 24, 25, or 20 something. Still get a position of need that's someone that you still have a decent grade on, and add another pick later that you can still address a position of need of value later on. I mean, I'm right there with you on that, man, all day on that one.
It's tough at that position. That's why you don't see. I'm gonna be so on the fence because it's really how this board is gonna fall. Mike Green isn't a solid pick at 19. He's not a polished player that I can say, yeah, that guy's gonna start right day one and dominate. I can't confidently say that. I see the tools. We thought the same thing with Joe Tryon-Shoyinka too, but it didn't pan out that way. Do you have counter moves? Do you have a move to back that up? Do you have the ability to learn new moves? I can't answer those questions because he's not in the facility and I can't see him work. But there's interior guys. Like I said, you got to think about Vita Vea in the future. He's coming on 30. 2 years left. Vita Vea has been a cog in this defense, and if you had not had him in these years, that defense will look immensely different. This is probably going to be the most critical offseason for Jason Light and Todd Bowles and for a while because you have a lot of spots that you need to fill. Yeah. And I'm not going to act like secondary is not an issue either because you have a bunch of empty spots on that with all those one-year players that you signed. And with the injuries killed you. I thought missing Bryce Hall game one hurt a lot. Bryce Hall was going to be he had a pick in that first week one that got called back. I would have loved to see more of that with 17 weeks to go. Yeah. But unfortunately, it wasn't written that way in 2024. I don't think you should go secondary, but if you had to ask me to go pick at 19, and it took me a lot to think about it, that's why I said what I said first. If you can find a guy that can fit two spots, it has to be Jahad Campbell. He is an edge rusher that switched to middle linebacker in Alabama. And I think you did a reel on that recently as well. Mm-hmm. He's a two-way player that can play on the edge and play in the middle. When he sees the play, his closing speed is short to no one. Yeah. The way he closes on the ball is crazy.
Yeah, he's nuts, man. That first
crazy closing on the ball. Processing, he can work on it. He's not, like I said, it's not finely tuned, but it's something you can work on. You can't train aggressiveness. You can't train being a dog. You can't train those things, but you can train on basic fundamentals. Yeah. And with guys like Levante David and other veterans coming back, you can be taught those things.
Exactly.
But you can play Campbell on the edge if you needed to. You got Braswell that you're coming off, but he's more of a situational edge rusher. Right. That's why you're looking at guys like Khalil Mack who can play the run and pass rush because Braswell's not that guy that's going to contain an edge. Campbell, Mack, guys like that, Yaya Diaby can contain those edges like that. So if you had to ask me if I had to pick at 19 and Campbell was available, that would be that guy besides like a guy like Tyler Warren, the guys I obviously think that's going to make an immediate impact to a team who they come to.
Yeah, I like Sorfin out of Texas A&M as well because he's a big body that can get it done inside and on edge. It's Texas A&M. Nick Scourton.
Is he labeled edge or interior?
He's labeled edge. He's 6'3", 257 pounds. He moves good for that frame.
Nick Scourton. Yeah, they got two of them. They got Shamar Stewart, who's 6'6", 285, and Nick Scourton, who's 6'4", 280.
Shamar Stewart is a bigger, stronger end. He's more of an interior. I mean, he could help inside. But for me, for that, if you want to look to replace Vita, you're gonna go bigger, true interior lineman. And then when I think edge, like Stewart fits more on that. I don't know. He just, I like Stewart better than on the edge than Stewart.
Stewart 6'6", 285, Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Stewart's explosive power stood out on tape. In the Senior Bowl, he shoots his hands and uses his long arms to press blocks off his frame, both rushing the passer and defending the run. Stewart's flexibility bends well at the top of his rush. He stands up offensive tackles, drives them back when he's setting the edge against the run. He gets off blocks in time to make the play. Nick Scoreton, 6'4", 280. Scoreton gets to the quarterback in different ways. He dips and rips and starts upfield, then redirects inside. He gets good power rusher. He spins inside, outside. Scoreton tracks the quarterback, falls back inside when the quarterback steps up. He is a disruptive run defender who slips blocks quickly. He has the size and strength to set the edge. He gets depth and leads quarterback into coverage and can kick inside to rush the passer. Yeah. So pretty much he does sound like the more finely tuned guy.
Right. Stewart's going to be more of that power guy. Scoreton's going to be more of, he's going to have a little bit better toolbox. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to getting up there and getting after it a little bit. And, let me ask you this one, Blake, because I know you're seeing it now, and a lot of people, I start getting inboxes, man. I'm like, God damn, hold on, man. What the hell is everybody going crazy on me for? Like, apologize that I didn't pick the guy that you like. But, man, I swear to you, I got 5 inbox messages on my social media account about Donovan Azaruka out of Boston College. Have you studied this film at all?
Yes, I have, and I'm sorry to cut you off and change subjects. The Chargers have officially released Joey Bosa.
Oh shit, that's a change of. I didn't see that one coming.
4 minutes ago, just happened.
Damn.
But
I don't see Bosa fitting in our defense. Not like Khalil Mack.
I've always been a fan of multiple guys that can get to the quarterback. That's how you do it. That's what the Eagles did.
Yeah.
You got rotation of guys with injury and just rotations. If you can get them at the price you want, I wouldn't be mad at it. You can consider all options. You need to address the edge. Sure. But they're talking about the defensive end out of Boston College. Very big guy. Let me pull it up here and then give you – that's why I love screen share. Yep, screen share. 6'2", 247. A little on the smaller side, but he is a slippery and disruptive run defender who has excellent length for his frame and position. He tracks the ball well, makes it rough for blockers to get into his frame, and is explosive speed rusher with a great get-off bend and closing burst. He jolts the blockers with a strong punch and works well in his initial contact. He's an effective hook, curl, and flat defender with the experience of dropping in the cutter and moves well enough to spy on quarterbacks. And that's because he's a smaller frame guy, 6'2", so he's able to drop back in coverage as well. Your thoughts on that, what you just read?
Man, it's not off. It's pretty accurate. And I know I saw some highlights, and granted, some of them were against Florida State, who was just ass this year. But he did a great job of setting that, coming up, hard upfield, leaning that outside shoulder out, making that tackle set inside, and then club back inside with it. But it's still with that gap integrity to where if he missed the inside move, he was going to be able to bend the corner to get back outside to help contain. And it was just nice watching them play. Smaller than what I mean. First, that's why I was like, I like what he did on film. I just think he's small for the way this defense plays. I think are bigger ends in this defense unless they're standing. But at the same time, they said he's not bad standing up and he can put his hand down when he needs to. And so it's intriguing. The more highlights I watched on Donovan and watching him get off the ball, I was like, that might be a good pick. But like in one of the mock drafts I did, I switched picks with San Diego or one of them LA teams, moved back to like from 19 to 24. And was able to get him in 24 and add an additional third-round pick.
Yeah, so those are options. If that's what you want to do. like I said, I think this draft is very important for Tampa Bay's future as far as if you want to make the playoffs and stuff this year. You have to make a lot of good moves this offseason. Now I'm going to see what Jason like. And if moving back and collecting picks is an option, then so be it. If your guys aren't there, I don't think you need to force any picks. I think Todd Bowles has proven he's very good and making it work with what he's got. But damn it, Jason Light, you got to stop giving this man from the freaking recycling bin of players sitting on the couch and bringing them into play. You've got to spend some damn money and some damn picks on the defense. I get it. You need to score points on offense. You have done that. You have catered to the offense. You have one of the best offensive lines in the league. Yeah, you have 3 great running backs. You have a feasible quarterback. You have wide receivers. You have an average tight end. God damn it, you got to start helping this pass rush. You won a Super Bowl with pass rush. This Tampa Bay is based on defense in Tampa. Get back to our culture. Get to the damn quarterback, man. But just get the guys that you think work. I don't give a shit when you draft them. Just get the guys that you think work for you.
Yeah, big time. And that's the key point. And I think, and Jason Light, he's done that more often than not. And I hate making excuses about injuries, but damn it, this past year was rough. This past year for the Buccaneers.
You can't knock it, especially in the secondary. It was awful.
Yeah.
Awful. And that's why I ride with Todd Bowles in that year. I said, this is a year you want to make a stand and say Todd Bowles is a bad coach when 7 of your quarterbacks are out?
Yeah.
Really? This is where you want to make a stand on?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Miss me with that bullshit.
And our second round pick, not second round pick. What was Tyke Smith? Third round pick?
No,
whatever.
second.
It was second.
Second or third. No, second or third. No, Braswell was second.
Yeah. But I mean, he still was on that path, like you said, to making good plays and becoming that player, then suffered injuries and he's out. So it's like, God damn, we can't catch a break. But yeah, the defense is definitely going to have to be a position of need. And I know we're still on the draft thing, but I'm glad we're on here tonight because I definitely wanted to talk to you about CG14 tonight too, man. I just want to know your whole take on the whole thing because I had a conversation with someone that damn near changed my mind.
What is it? Let me hear it.
Well, I had someone reach out to me, man, on Games Peter perspective and say, hey, well, James, lately Godwin hadn't really been able to finish the season or he's been banged up. Do we really put the farm into him or do we move on, go younger and use that money to utilize other places, other things we can do? And I just know what the asking price is going to be and from what some people that so quote unquote study the salary cap say is, can't franchise tag him again because you don't have the money to do it. And so what are you going to offer to keep him there that might cripple you to other things that you may need in free agency?
So the Bucs are at a conundrum right now. And I'm going to answer your question, and now I'm going to hit it with my own. CG14, he's a guy I picked in that draft where they drafted him at. I picked him at third round, and that's exactly where the Bucs drafted him. I said, why? That guy, I said it, my exact words were CG14 was a guy who's not exceptionally fast. He's not a guy that's going to stand out on your tape, but he does all the right things to make himself successful. He tore up Adoree Jackson, who was ran one of the fastest 40s, cornerback out of USC. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
Tore him up in that bowl game, and Chris is not the fastest guy. He's big body, break tackles, and he's a Tampa guy. He wants to be here.
Right.
And I have to look at the injuries. It's not he has a strained hamstring and he's out. It's significant injuries while he's out. Right. Saints tore his knee up. His ankle was literally laying the other direction of his leg. It's not no ticky-tack injuries.
Right.
And you don't miss games on ticky-tacky injuries. So when he's in, and he's 110% when he's in. Every year he goes out, he's about to break records. It's the crazy. Yeah. It's crazy that it happens. He's breaking records every time he goes out.
That's facts.
And you need a guy to success Mike. I don't know if Mike's going after this year. I don't know what he wants to do. He might want to go on top, break Jerry Rice's record with 1,000 yards and hang it up.
Right.
I don't know. But you can kind of backload Chris's contract to have some money because Mike will come off the books after this year, and you'll have all that money next year for Godwin. But I know the Bucs are going to play with the money and things like that. But I think having Godwin here is essential. It saves you a pick that you have to. I mean, you do have to get a draft pick at wideouts eventually. There's a lot of guys out there. Just depends on when you want to spend it.
Right.
But Godwin is an X factor. He's proven time in and time out. He's a great wide receiver and will always be a good wide receiver.
Yeah.
Everything has been against this man, and he still produces. What more does he have to show you? He produces. I can't argue it, and I will never argue it. But my point is, the money that you would have to spend on somebody else, you would have to sacrifice Jamil Dean, which I'm not mad at, and I was a big Jamil Dean fan. Your best ability is your availability.
Right.
If you want to get Khalil Mack or Joey Bosa or whoever else you want to bring in, Chase Young, you got to get rid of Jamil Dean's contract to do it.
Yeah.
And so
what did that save? Almost $5 million.
Correct. I said so. You go get these prove-it guys that still want to get paid, and you bring them in here. Somebody that wants to play and has to prove something, and you bring them here, kind of like Shaq Barrett was, which Denver lost Shaq Barrett over $1 million difference is what it was to come to Tampa, and the rest was history. I ain't got to explain that one to you.
Right.
You bring in guys like that, then you'll have guys that are hungry and want a chance to play and want to play for somebody who believes with them is going to put them in the best position, and that would be Ty Bowles. But it's going to have to start with you moving on from Jamil Dean for possibly more picks.
Yeah, I feel you on that, man. But yeah, the injury point had me thinking. And then you look at the significant amount, how significant the injuries were. It's like, damn, do we part ways? You know, is Palmer and McMillan, are they those guys? And you're like, no, they're not. They're not Chris Godwin. So don't ever, you know what I said? Are they those guys? I mean, are they those guys that can step into the role, replace them? No. Chris Godwin's proved his worth in the NFL. So they're not just Chris Godwin. So I had to ask, man, because, man, I've been going back and forth, and I almost felt like I was a traitor when I said, shit, we might have to let him go. Like, damn.
And Mike's not a lock to play every game.
Right.
You got to think about things like that. He's not a lock to play every game. So depending on who you draft or whatever you want to do, you got to start thinking about that. Like I said, I think every year I think it's tough for a coach and a GM to draft. I think this year is very, very tough. Your scouting department needs to be working tirelessly day in and day out, looking at free agents, looking at guys teams wants to move that don't play much, or you see a talent level. You're going to have to be at a maximum high to find guys to fill, and secondary is going to need to get filled. But I think a lot of your help comes in the secondary if you get pushed up front.
Big time. Like you said it best earlier when we first started. The better you are up front, the little you can have a little less talent in the back. And there's no slight to anyone. Like anyone who knows the game of football understands what I'm saying when I say what I'm saying right now. Like your front end can make your back end look a lot better than what they really are a lot of times.
So James played defensive line. I played linebacker. I can be in coverage. I can be more aggressive that I know I don't have to cover for long.
Right.
And if you know that you're not going to get you have to cover a guy for 3, 4, 5 seconds, you're basically at a disadvantage. You're reacting instead of acting at this point. When you can blitz and guys can get to your quarterback before, cornerbacks can be aggressive. They can take more shots, trying to jump routes. You can do that when you know the pressure is coming. When there ain't no pressure coming, it's a problem trying to cover these athletes at wide receiver and tight end for so long. You can't do it. It's tough. But when you can get to the quarterback, it makes life a whole lot easier.
Yep. Man.
We talk about edge, linebackers picks. Do you have any later round?
Who do you like in the secondary? I mean, when we said you do need secondary help, or do you think secondary is something that can be addressed through free agency?
Depending on who's there and what the price is, it can. Todd Bowles proven he can plug in a lot of guys and play them in that system and make them successful. He has the type of guys that he likes. He likes smaller now nickel guys in the nickel. And he likes longer, rangy corners on the outside. And he likes versatile guys in the safety position because they come down in the box. That's his recipe, what he likes in the secondary. It doesn't really matter who it is. He finds it. Hell, you had Ryan Neal playing linebacker at some point. But,
right.
Yeah, I mean, but guys that I like in the secondary, I put Longer Beam up there out of Rutgers.
Okay.
Had a very, very, very good camp. Very good camp. Very familiar. Todd Bowles is very familiar with him. Why? His son went there before transferring to another college. Todd Bowles Jr. went to Rutgers, and he's very familiar with him. Hence why Itzian came to Tampa Bay from Rutgers. Very familiar with Todd Bowles and how things are. That's why he had success early here. Same thing with Tyke Smith. Very close to Troy, who Troy is now in Michigan, I believe. Yeah, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. So it's a familiarity has always been a thing in the NFL, and that comes with coaches and players. That's why players and coaches move around depending on where people are. It's familiarity and being comfortable is a lot of the game. I'm sure you can contest to that, James. Playing both college and NFL, it's the way it works.
Yep.
But that's one guy I'm looking at. But if you're looking at secondary again, I'll pull it up for you, James. I see you looking.
I was looking over because it's someone that I found late today, man, and I was like, man, because the University of Kansas is pretty much known this year, and the defensive back that was getting a lot of love is not even who I end up finding out though. But Mello Dotson is the guy that's been getting a lot of love. But the person out of Kansas that I think that could be a steal because of size and versatility, as far as they call him a lockdown corner and be able to play versatile schemes, is Kobe Bryant.
Yes,
he could be a later round pick.
I followed him since he was a freshman. Yeah, Kobe Bryant. Yeah, out of Kansas, 6 foot corner, very undersized. Kind of reminds me of the Eagles cornerback. What's his name? The rookie that they drafted.
The one out of Iowa.
Yeah, that's the safety.
Okay,
well, he was a corner too. The other one that started on the other side. I don't know why his name is slipping my mind right now.
I know who you're talking about.
He's very undersized. But anyway, he's very undersized. 6 feet 170. He's very light in the ass. I just say, but that's not necessarily bad at secondary, especially if you're not known for a big tackler. Your job is to cover. I'm not too mad at it. But that's your job to do that. I mean, I'll check out some of Kobe Bryant's video. I remember hearing that name when he was young. Quinyon Mitchell, that's who it was. Quinyon Mitchell. What's the name?
Okay.
I couldn't think of. That's
name was.
But Kobe Bryant, 6 feet 170. But a guy I was looking at, let's look at a couple of these here. And I look at the things that Todd Bowles want. It all depends on what position you're looking at. Are you looking at inside?
Exactly.
He likes to. If they do pick up Kobe Bryant, he would come in as the nickel corner. He would come in underneath. But guys that I know that he likes are long, lanky corners. Like you said, you picked Revel, who's 6'3". That fits Todd Bowles' scheme.
Man, and that's why I picked him when I first saw the length and watched him play. Like you said, the versatility is a problem because he's been injured. But man, Siobhan, and then just the story. How you working nights at an Amazon warehouse to go on and earn a college scholarship, man? Like
that's the kind of guy you want.
I love that shit because he got the work ethic to come do what you want to do when he come to camp, man. He gonna come to work.
Getting it out the mud.
A lot of teams had him sneaking up too after this combine. So who knows? I don't know what's gonna happen with it. You know what I mean? It's like, damn.
Yeah, it's the kind of guy you want. It's just durability is your only question. Like I said, you got Will Johnson. You got tons of corners. It all depends on what they want to address and who they believe in. I mean, you can even move some of these safeties like this Nick Murray guy out of Southern Cal. Of course, Max Starks can come down and play the box and the nickel. out of Georgia. Pair him up with Tyke Smith. This is Xavier Watts kid has been known. Billy Bowman Jr. was another name.
I mean, I didn't tell you. I seen that kid play since he was in high school. That's a bad boy.
Oh, you talking about Billy Bowman?
Yeah,
That's the one you know.
He from the Texas area. He played at Denton Ryan High School, and it was funny because he and my son playing against each other in high school. My son hit him with like a stutter and go and ran right by him. Then the quarterback just happened to overthrow it, and I was like, "Damn!" I said, "You know, you ain't gonna get open that much more in a game ever, right?" And he was like, "Yeah." But Billy Bowman, he's versatile. He can play safety. If you had to use him as a nickel corner, he would be able to come in and do that as well.
Yeah. So yeah, when you look at guys like that, so I'm looking at who would fit Bowles' scheme. But yeah, that's an interesting one to look at. I totally forgot all about Kobe. Once you said that name, I said, I remember that kid. I remember watching him when he was a freshman at Kansas, and he had a lot of upside. Never really got much bigger. I think that's pretty much what he's gonna look at him. Of course, he's gonna hit the little gym and stuff, and hit the little protein drinks when he get to the pros. But
this is what you said. You hit the little protein drinks.
Hit the little protein drinks, when you get to the pros. But it'll be all right. But I think he can play underneath and stuff like that. Those are what I'm looking at as secondary. Like it's in this draft is like I said, this is going to be a very interesting draft to see how things fall. Free agency is going to tell the tale of how everything is going to fall first. You're going to have a better look if the Bucs pick up free agent edge rushers. It obviously tells you they can put pressure elsewhere. It's going to be a lot. Free agency is going to start it. Now, my opinion, we'll get together post free agency and see how that looks. Like I said, right now I'm all over the place because I really have no idea.
Right. We don't know what's happening. So that's going to change some things.
You just watch Deebo Samuels get fucking traded to the Washington Commanders. Like I have no idea what's happening right now.
I knew that.
So, huh?
Deebo just.
Oh, I knew Deebo.
He burned some bridges. Man, it was wild, man. Really wild.
Mushing the kicker. Thinking he's Justin Jefferson. Like, bro,
right.
You're good in this system. Nobody is scared of your pure route running ability. Trust me, you're great catching the ball underneath and breaking tackles. Absolutely, second to none. Doing that, but as a pure receiver, I don't know.
Right.
No, absolutely not. Like I said, on the other end, Godwin, who could do both, play wide receiver, catch the ball, break tackles. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting offseason.
Yeah.
Let's change gear for a minute.
All right.
Jon Gruden going to the Ring of Honor. How do you feel about that?
At this point in time in my life, man, it's like whatever, dog. I mean, they gave this whole spiel of how Lane Kiffin at his dad's funeral talk about how his dad always gave people second chances. So the Buccaneers decided to give Jon Gruden a second chance and go ahead and put him back up. To me, that means you didn't really do your due diligence and your homework before you took him out. Because a move of that magnitude, once made, I don't think you change it. I mean, I don't know. At the end of the day, who cares? I say this, and no disrespect to nobody, man. I just always believe that Jon Gruden, not that he was a bad coach, he was just an overrated coach to me.
What quarterback did he develop?
Crickets, right? Now you got them play. You got straight crickets. Hey, hold on, I got a button for that. So when it comes to like Jon Gruden news, if that's good for what the Glazer family wants to do in the Buccaneers organization, feel like that's good press and media for them to reinstate him and give him a second chance. Cool, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's like everyone still knows what really happened, what went down with the Super Bowl that he did win. Now, eventually, did Tony Dungy get him one? Yes, so that you don't have to really hover over that. But damn, man, this man won Super Bowl all because of Tony Dungy. And people will still say, well, he still had to do X, Y, and Z to get it done, but the defense was in place. Tony wasn't allowed to take any of the defensive staff with him when he left. The record, you just look at Jon Gruden's record over time in Tampa after the first couple of years, like once all those players through the Dungy era have went on to leave and go other places besides a few that the Buccaneers locked in to keep. He didn't do anything. So I mean,
nope, they didn't really do anything. Their average points per game were 21.6, and a lot of those games were based off defensive players returning defensive interceptions and fumbles for touchdowns. So it wasn't like you had a slew of offense either at that time.
Right. I mean, it just now, just I guess a question would be from a moral standpoint: do I believe it was right or wrong? I don't know. I didn't see the emails. I don't know what.
You talking about the email scandal?
Yeah, just everything in general. So to like I said, if you're the Buccaneers organization, see, you got to tread careful in this water because everybody listening to something you got to say. It's just all this Me Too stuff sometimes too.
Yeah.
Does one person say something wrong? Everybody's like, "Well, I'm gonna be proactive. We just gonna go on and remove." So part of me was just like, did y'all have enough evidence really be like, you know what, this man don't deserve to be in our Ring of Honor. We got to take him down now. Or did you overreact because you expected people to act a certain way if you didn't take him out the Ring of Honor? You know what I mean? So it's like, one, him being in there, that's y'all business. Have whatever y'all's criteria is and how people get into the Ring of Honor, that's y'all's business. Gruden was in there. He won the franchise's first Super Bowl. Cool. But make sure when you take him out, you can stand by why you took him out and why it shouldn't be a topic anymore. But you didn't stand on that. You brought him back.
Absolutely. And I'm with the bullshit, James. So let me say this. Everything you said is credible. 100% agree. You removed Jon Gruden based on how everybody else would react. The reason you put him in the Ring of Honor was because what he did for the franchise coaching, not what he did outside or how he was in his personal life. That's the part that you should have stood on business about, regardless of what everybody felt.
Right.
So I say this to say this. You brought him back based on the emails, after all the emails and everything else. Why isn't James Wilder brought back?
Man, you up there reading my brain right now.
Why isn't James Wilder in the Ring of Honor? That's a whole nother conversation for another time. But James Wilder Jr., if you see this, you should be asking the same question.
Fact.
Why your dad isn't brought back. So that's a whole nother conversation for another time.
Boy.
I'll say that second chances. Are they just for who you want them to be for?
Right.
Okay.
Ooh-wee. Yeah. Let the church say amen.
Ain't no way the team's leading rusher in the fucking Ring of Honor. Anyway, moving on. I lost train of thought for a second, James.
It's all good.
Sorry about that. Shador Sanders. Oh, before I get into that, I had a guy I wanted to talk about before we moved on to Shador Sanders. A train of thought when we get good conversations. Before we got into Shador Sanders, the other guy out of Michigan, interior defensive lineman, I really starting to fall in love with him. Thank you, Baldy. Is Kenneth Grant out of Michigan, 6'3", 339. The big guys up front. Now let's take a look at some of this video here. Now let's take a look. What I love is instincts in football. You've played this position, James, so anything I'm going to say you already know about. Instincts. What do you mean by instincts, Blake? You can read when a guy's going to down block on you. You can see a guy leaning. You can see when a guy has too much pressure on his hand that lets you know he's going to come, or when he has less pressure on his hand, means he's going to drop back and pass block, excuse me. These intangibles, some people can do, some people can't. Immediately beats the block. Gets under the pulling guard. And makes a T4L at that size. That's impressive.
Yep.
That is impressive. His body's well put together. No diddy. What legs and weight. Legs and weight. Like he's proportionate. Reminds me a lot of Jalen Carter. Not going to compare him. I'm just saying. Comes down on the block, gets off with a swim, immediately causing disruption.
Yeah, I want to see him rip off of that sometimes and then swimming over all of it. But just the read recognition of that block going away and his eyes coming back inside to see the guy coming down on him, be able to use his hands to then make sure he stays in this gap to go make a play. That's big time football right there, man.
Swipe, 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 swipe. Get all the way outside. Keep outside shoulder free. Push up field with the inside arm. Push up field. Keep the outside arm free. Look what happens when you put in work. Quarterback comes right to you. Yep, you know about that, James.
Man, love it, love it, love it.
Let's check in another one. Reading the offense. Over top of the center in the one tech. No, he's always at 3.
That was guarding the 3, yeah.
Yeah, that's a 3. My bad. Let me back up some.
But he shouldn't have been able to get over that block like he
You saw that? How far he got over that quick?
Yeah, watch this. That's
at 3:30. At 3:39.
He's got good feet. He plays the we used to say he plays the piano well. You know how fingers glide over the piano?
Yeah.
They never come down real heavy. He plays the piano well with his feet. You watch that sit down in that egg, working back out, and now he's gonna just do work.
Get your hands on the ball. Look at that.
Miss. If you can't get to the quarterback, get the ball down.
I like how he reads before he gets in the stance.
Yeah, but he played against somebody with tempo. His ass is gonna be in trouble. You gotta be ready.
Oh, yeah. Center has no shot. Guard tries to help out. Fight, fight, fight. Keep your eyes on the quarterback. Looking back there. Able to get his hand on the pass. There's another one. You're just eating up USC.
Man. Well, yeah, we see they weren't very good this year. We know why now. Body surfing. Put that head down. Go swing. Go. Olay.
Olay. All you needed was the cake with the bull.
Yeah, man.
And I think people try to down block thinking he's a big guy and he's going to easily look at. Give ground to get ground.
He's got good feet.
Give ground to get ground.
Yeah, but he didn't. And the thing is, he gave a couple steps, but he really didn't lose anything. All he did was create a clear path and lane for him to get to the quarterback. That's a good job.
Okay, bigger offensive guard here. Let's see how he does. Okay, pulling. That comes down the block. Eyes in the backfield. Come down the scrimmage. Don't tell me he runs this down. Don't tell me 339 runs this down. Don't tell me that he runs this down.
That's a good play. That's really a oh shit data boy. Because he really jumped out his gap and played down the line and then hustled and made a tackle. That's a great play though. That is great hustle. You can't teach that. That's the stuff that you can't teach. You have to love that. You can't teach that kind of play.
That's solid right there. Your thoughts, James?
Solid as a rock, as the song says. I like it, man. I like it. Great play. And the thing is, he's another tackle that's getting all the hype out of Michigan. But the third rated interior guy, I don't know how fast the interior guys are going to come off the board, but man. And like you said, Vita is getting up there in age. You got to have someone that can compare because you're not going to put Kalijah 0 over the nose.
No, that's not him.
That's not going to happen. That's not what he does well.
When we talked about him, everything we said, well, you said, you said he's great on stunts, loops, things like that. And that's exactly what he has success in doing because he has.
And people thought I was crazy. And they're like, man, he's too little. He does this. I mean, watch what he does well. With the way Bowles calls his defense, he's going to fit fine. He's got to get better, stronger, and he did. Now with him, would you say your best ability is your availability? We just got to keep him on the field.
Stay on the field.
Keep him on the field.
I think his first 2 years in the league, I think he missed like the first part with, little minor stuff, ankles and stuff like that, and hamstring and stuff like that. Or was it calves? Calves. He's usually having a problem with. He's got to stay on the field. That's it. Otherwise, I like what I see. You just got to be on the field. But that guy there, I said I could see why Graham probably got a lot of one-on-ones and probably helped his tape. But it goes back to what I initially said earlier about Austin Gentry. I think different now. I think, why does this guy have success? So let me look at the other pieces around him. That next to you helps out immensely. That kind of talent next to you helps your draft stock immensely. That's why Graham is slated as the number 1 defensive tackle in the league. Shit. Kenneth could actually be the better player in the league.
Right.
Who knows? He could be. But it's interesting how things work, falling to the right team, like you said, and things like that. But let me get back into, speaking of falling to the right team, Shedeur Sanders. We want to talk about that. What is your thoughts on that?
You know, I don't know how to take the reports on Shedeur as they come out. Part of me sees a young, arrogant person, but at the same time, I said this in my Shedeur Sanders short today. Don't you want your quarterback to be one of the most confident people on the team? Don't you want your quarterback to have a swagger and a I piss vinegar attitude about him, like, you can't touch me? You need a confident quarterback. And people are going to perceive him as arrogant. And I think some of it is just simply because of who his dad is. I have so many people that tell me stuff and they hate on Deion Sanders. And the first thing I say is like, have you ever met Deion? No. Have you ever talked to Deion? No. So tell me why you hate him. Well, he just do this.
Is that what the media told you?
I was like, that makes no sense, because you, as a father, if you're in position to help your son, what would you do? No, that's different. No, it's not. If you were in position to help your son, what would you do? Now, does Shedeur bring some of it onto himself? Yeah, he does, because you got to play the game. Like I told somebody today, it's like politics. You got to shake hands and kiss babies and make everything seem like roses, peaches and cream. It's got to be great. Is that who he really is? Probably no. But everyone is looking for one or two things to jot down about you to bring up a negative thought process for other people. I'm not really mad about Shedeur. I went in the rooms. I didn't hear the interview process. I don't know how things went. I didn't see him break down film. But to me, as a general manager, if I'm a general manager of a really bad team and I need a quarterback, I'm addressing my offensive line needs in free agency, because obviously you're going to need that to happen. But if that quarterback is competent enough to read defenses, make decisive plays, know how to audible, be able to translate our terminology into ability and play on the field, then he's going to be the right pick for me. I don't care if he has his hat on backwards. I don't care if he flashes a watch up in the press conference. There's a lot of things that I'm not going to care about if I'm trying to win and get better. And if this kid's a proven winner and he fits well in my grade on my board. It's not a big quarterback heavy draft. It's only a couple that you're going to get in these first couple rounds that can actually come in and help you. And if he's one of them and you like his talent, you have to let some of the other shit go and take the chance on him.
Absolutely. He set a lot apart. And you know me, I'm always with the bullshit. Let me take a drink on this one. So, as a father, you're a father. I've raised 2 stepdaughters. I have none of my own. But I know what that means. You want the best for your kids. And I watch year in, year out since I was a kid till now. All these coaches pave their way for their sons to have coaching jobs, knowing they don't deserve it. I've watched guys get jobs on teams and play on teams that shouldn't have got a spot over it.
Right.
I've watched it for decades. I never had a problem with it. I thought he was doing what his job is supposed to do as a father. You want to put your kids in the best position. I don't see anything wrong with it, regardless of the color of the skin. So when I see things like LeVar Ball put 3 sons, black sons, into college, had him set up at UCLA and things like that, you spin it as if he's using his kids to get clout. LeVar Ball didn't do anything to get from his kids. He lives in Chino Hills in California. If you don't know where that is, Google it. Doesn't need the money. Never needed it. Mother has cancer and things like that. took care of his family. You painted him as a villain. Deion Sanders comes, takes care of his kids. They follow him. Has Travis Hunter. Have all these guys come to him because he's a father figure to a lot of these guys. Post on what the media wants you to believe. You need to stop believing what the box, the idiot box, and the handheld idiot box, the phone tells you, and look up your own stuff of how he actually is with people. I've met Deion Sanders here in Tampa before. I don't see the things that people say when I talk to him. And I paint all that to say, like, we want to talk about quarterback positions and people being aggressive and privilege and things like that. I'm not going to say that word. Don't freaking talk to me about people being, what's the word? Not aggressive, but what do they call him, James? Arrogant. Arrogant and things like that, and entitled and cocky and stuff like that. When I watched Eli Manning get drafted to the freaking San Diego Chargers, and you tell the Chargers team that you're not going to play for the team and you're going to go elsewhere in the draft, and then they do it. Phillip Rivers goes to the Chargers from the Giants, and Eli goes to the Giants. Don't tell me about arrogant and things like that when I watch Peyton Manning put his nuts in a girl's face at Tennessee in a Heisman campaign, and the girl gets fired and never has another job again because his dad is Archie Manning. Don't do that. It's when a history has already been paid out before. I've seen a lot worse in the past. So he can, if you don't want to practice and throw in the camp, why should he? Go look at the tape. I've said that for years. Right. The combine really doesn't do anything. It gives you a better look at maybe how people move, or a guy you wanted some questions. The tape shows everything.
Right.
The combine doesn't change anything, but how fast somebody can run in a 40. And I said this on several social media sites. 40-yard dash times does not showcase success in the league.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you.
I said, if you don't believe me, name me one person besides Chris Johnson that has had a stellar career in the league that ran a top 540.
Right. Look at John Ross, fastest motherfucker at the time. I think he had as many career catches in Cincinnati as I did.
It doesn't, but yet year in and year out, you're salivating at the 40-yard dash.
Yeah.
Stop
Football's not played in a straight line, man. People know that.
As far as I know.
I did this shit for a long time. I ain't seen nobody do, oh, goddamn. That 40-yard dash came into play on that one.
He's gonna be great on our team. He can run in a straight line.
Yeah. I mean, speed, yes, it's a difference now. It's a difference. Don't get what we're saying twisted, y'all. You said, well, remember he broke that run and he ran down the field 75. You're a fool. We're not talking about that. We know how people can showcase their speed once open. What can you do to get open before you get to that 40 yards? What other things do you show me with your hips and your feet? The defensive line with your hands, your bend. Like Blake read about 5 different edge rushes that we talked about. And one of the key things they all said, good bend and dip in range. Those are the things you get from your hips and your leverage and everything else. That's not talking about a 40. That's not sprinting in a straight line.
40-yard dash wasn't mentioned in any of it. You notice that? Wasn't mentioned.
Right.
There's a reason. Some of your best receivers in the league ran 4.5, sub 4.5, 4.6 40s. Some of your best wide receivers in the league.
If they're a route runner and that's what they speak, shit, I'll take a precise route runner that can get open.
The word and wide receivers are separation. That is your favorite word in wide receiver. The ability to separate. That is the word you want. Linebackers, the word you want. T4Ls is the word you look for in linebacker. I get 1,000 tackles 10 yards downfield. That don't mean a goddamn thing.
Hey, that's the truth.
I can have 1,000 tackles 10 yards downfield. He must be good. He has 110 tackles. Where are they?
They
Are
all
they
they
behind
all
the
they all
scrimmage?
they all for +5 or something. What the hell?
Where are they? Are they behind the line or at the line? Or behind the line?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it just cracks me up. And that's why we're here to talk about stuff like this. To educate the ones that want to actually learn something and tell the ones that think they know stuff you don't know shit. And I'm cool with being that guy. James, you got anything else? I think we pretty much hit on a lot of that.
Nah, man, it was a lot. You know what I'm saying? We try to hit that machine gun effect because it's been a long time since we got together and talked, man.
Yeah.
So we spit it out
Yeah.
there on y'all, man. You know what I'm saying?
Hit some bangs. You just hit him with the
entertained? Are you not entertained?
I hit you with the machine gun over there.
Yeah, I mean it's so much more we can go on. This really could be damn near daily because of all the shit that's going on in the league right now with teams and what's going on. The combine wrapped up. But no, man, I just had a good time being able to try to chop it up and break down a couple different players. It's so many out there, and I love your aspect on everything, how you do it, diving into those guys that a lot of people aren't going to look into. That's going to be those later round guys because that was James Cannida. That was me. I was that guy that Mel Kiper and other people decided to skip over and not talk about. I was that one that was like, he might be okay, but and then coming out that draft class, one of them only late round defensive linemen that had a career long enough to be vested and get a pension out of, be able to come in that first preseason and be tied in the league with sacks because of the mold. And people like, man, we never knew that kid was that good. But Tim Ruskell and those guys in the Buccaneers front office did their due diligence. Jerry Angelo, they all made sure that, they went to bat to Rich McKay, Rod Marinelli. They got me in there, and I proved my worth. So those are the guys that I'm interested in, and I'm glad you take a dive into those guys, Blake, and look into those later guys that, those are going to be the guys that's when your $30 million star can't practice. They're going to take all the reps in practice. They're going to make sure that the scout team is running right. They're going to make sure the other reps are being done right and that everyone else is ready to go because it's not like college where you got 90-some people on the team and you got two deeps and everything else. It's a 53-man roster in the NFL. Somebody get hurt, plus your 5 on the practice squad, shit. Somebody out there working. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't see. So all you little guys in the draft, man, keep grinding, keep working, and pray your dreams come true because there's going to be a lot of guys out there that's going to surprise some people and have some great careers.
It's going to be one of them drafts.
You can't handle the truth.
That's it. It's gonna be one of them drafts, man, because ain't no bangers out there like that, man. In this draft, ain't no bangers.
It's crazy when you look at it, man, and it's all about fit. Find that guy that fits what you do and make sure they can do it well. We don't have to know who the hell it is. I like pulling up stuff like, who the hell is that? Like when we got Ramirez out of Eastern Michigan, and then going back and seeing him do some things. Like, you know what? The value of that pick when they made it and what he may or may not be able to do, that was a good pick.
And they had that preseason game with 3 sacks. It just can't. He was getting banged up too, but it's just the way it works out sometimes. And the other one, Marquise Watts out of Charlotte, a guy my buddy Aaron, a guy my buddy Aaron that I played against in high school, who took the job over in Las Vegas with the Raiders. There's one other guy I forgot to mention, Kyle Kennard out of South Carolina, 6'5", 254.
I had him. I had Kennard down. And, he fell a little bit after the combine. If you look at his draft buzz ranking, Kennard is good. Like he's one of my top 5 edge guys that I did on my video on Game Field Perspective.
I like him. I watched him dominate plenty of games this year, man. Coming off that edge, I don't know why he's not getting no buzz. Maybe it's on purpose. Who knows? The draft is tricky. And before I got on my rant about entitlement with dads and quarterbacks in the draft, I lost my train of thought, but I wanted to say this. You got to take the draft stuff with a grain of salt. And why I say that is there will be people, that's why they're unnamed, create controversy during the draft process to make a player fall to their team. And they will do that. I will give you an example that's close to home in Tampa Bay. There should have been no way in hell that the Philadelphia Eagles drafted Mike Mamula over Warren Sapp over smoking weed. How'd that work out?
Facts.
How'd it work out? Mike Mamula was a great shorts and t-shirt guy in the camp. When Warren Sapp was an all-out dog. And you picked Mike Mamula because you bought the hype. Happens. A lot of guys fall victim. A lot of guys trade up and pick quarterbacks they shouldn't pick up this because of the hype. Happens every year. Get the guy you believe in. Get the guys you believe in. I believe Jason Light and Todd Bowles will do that. And I think we should be fine. Oh, shit. There was one more guy. I want to talk about non-position that we haven't talked about, which nobody has been talking about, and they should. It's the backup quarterback position.
Oh.
Because Kyle Trask is coming to the end of his years here. And I like Curtis Rourke out of Indiana.
Yeah, a lot of it. He's been on some boards I've seen.
Yeah, I thought Quinn Ewers should have stayed another year in college, possibly transferred.
I think he was forced out of Texas and didn't want to go anywhere else. I think that's what it came down to, man. He should have gone somewhere else.
He would have been a top 3 quarterback. He went somewhere else next year.
Yeah.
But whatever. It is what it is. He made a decision. But that's the guy I'm looking at. Late round pick you can pick up, mold, turn to Indiana program. That's been misery for years. You can do that with Indiana. I'd like to see what you got. That's why. Who else came from Indiana who is a star now? Michael Bennett came from Indiana original.
Yeah.
James, any final thoughts?
Nah, man. Like, I'm interested to see what these Buccaneers do, free agency and draft wise. It's planning to get together, man. Like you said, once free agency starts and
we're gonna have different
ink start drying. Yeah, and it's gonna be a good one.
You buying the hype of Khalil Mack?
I am. I love it. And I don't know if you saw that reel I did on him. As soon as they said that he wanted out or the Chargers were gonna release him, I showed that picture of him in Chicago hitting Tristan Wirfs with that inside club, man, like yum. And Wirfs don't get beat like that a lot. And Khalil Mack was a guy that had him on his tiptoes a couple times that night up there in Chicago. I bought a Khalil Mack hype because I right now, when you get a guy that up in age, over 10 years in the league, still have productive play, I believe you can get him on a high veteran tender where you don't pay a lot. It's a 1-year deal. Like, you don't have to go get a multi-year, large, super big deal for Khalil Mack. You can get him on a 1-year deal structured the right way, get some good production out of it, and still build on what you need for the long term. Now you're not as pressed to bring in a super rookie, but you can still get someone that you're going to build and learn for your program. So I buy it, man. And it's because of who he is too. I'm a Khalil Mack fan. So yeah,
same.
I buy it.
Yep.
Buy it.
Same here. Big Khalil Mack fan. It would help. It would take some pressure off after the draft, and you can get guys later. Another late. I think there was 2 late round guys. I think we get so caught up, I forget. It's Jack Sawyer out of Ohio State. There's a guy I liked.
Yeah.
Jack Sawyer, and the other kid out of Arkansas, Landon Jackson, 6'7", 282.
The kid from Arkansas is shooting up too. He's moved up the boards out of the combine.
Yeah, great, good set the edge and get to the quarterback. Something Bowles likes. I think with the other side, with Yaya being a more run stuffer, I think you need to get another guy who's better at rushing the quarterback on the other side. Like I said before, Braswell's not exactly a guy who's going to sit the edge. He's a situational pass rusher. Yeah. I think we need a guy who can hold his own in the run, and that's just not necessarily dominate, but have the ability to do that and get to the edge. And you can get those guys maybe later. It's going to be real interesting to see what they pick and where they go in this draft. So, James, it's such fun as always. We'll get together coming up with free. What we got next week, right? Free agency starts.
March 12th is the calendar year starts, and everybody, yeah. So a lot of them deals are gonna be done this weekend, where they'll start talking about who's gonna go where once they sign and shit like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you know the deal. They talk to people they can't say nothing. You know that deal. You know all that. Shh, we already got it worked out. Act like it's brand new.
Right. Exactly.
I'm Blake Anthony. This is the great big game, James Cannida. Make sure to check out James on all his social media stuff that'll be tagged in the description. Make sure to follow him. James will have some of the clips from here on here, of course, just like I will. Make sure to follow James. James is basically 1A, 1B between us two with the stuff that we put out and perspectives. We cover any sports everywhere. More getting into the range of boxing now. I'll be down there for the in Atlantic City for the Boots Ennis fighting the guy from Lithuania. Okay. I'll be in attendance for that. So, yeah, just stay tuned. Always keep an eye on both me and James and talking about sports and all that. Right. But when this, as we always do, you're the master of everything. What you do with your life, what you do with this is entirely up to you. Always God bless. And as always, fire those cannons. See you next time.
Peace.